Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I share the gameplay by Alena and Kamilla, and this beautiful game in the French classical system, and the black win the game in 24 move with a very pawn storm at the b5. And let's see how the game play. The game starts with the pawn to e4, e6, d4, d5, knight to c3, knight to f6. Then e5 was played trying to push the pawn forward and attack the knight. And at this position, the knight just have to move away, and the black move the knight to knight fd7. Then f4 was played, and here you have a very strong pawn in the center. And now, because of this structure, the black need to equalize the game with a pawn c5, and this is a very strong to attack the pawn and minimize the attack and structure in the center of the board. So after c5 was played, and now the white still slightly better, which most of the pieces quite active and can just develop up. Then the continuation of the game, the white continue to play knight f3. Then the black also developed knight to c6, and the white continue to develop bishop to e3, trying to attack the pawn and also push up the bishop. Then the pawn just capture, and now the knight just control and going to the center of the square. Then bishop develop and trying to attack the knight. We now have two pieces, while the white also have two pieces to protect it. So after this, queen d2 was played, and now the white pair to go for a long castling. Then the black just go for a short castling, bring the king to a safety to the corner of the board, and the white also play bishop to e2 develop, and this allow the choice for the white to castling either the king side or the queen side. Then queen e7 was played, and this is a first 10 move, and you can see that the white is slightly better in the position. So in this game, the white choose the long castling, and now once the black found that the white has go for a long castling, and now the black prepare to attack with the queen side. So the first idea, the black choose to play a a6. Then this will prepare to go for a b5, and here the pawn will be a storming ahead to attack the knight. And after capture, we're able to attack the pawn and check the king. So this path that the black idea play critically to move the b pawn forward and to attack the king that has been castling to the queen side. And this idea is to push the pawn forward and to crush the king from the queen side. So the game continues with a6, and after this, the white also trying to attack the black at the king side, because the king is at the king side. Now, so he played the g4, trying to storm and attack the king side. And after this, the black just capture the knight, Nxd4, and bishop capture. And here the white still has an edge. After this, b5 was played, preparing to go to b4, attack the knight and also attack the pawn and check the king. So this will be the critical path for the white to play the pawn mover and crusher towards the white. So after this move, f5 was played, and this allowed the black to push the pawn forward. And this game, a better move would be playing such as a pawn to a4, and this will equalize the game to prevent the pawn to move forward. So after this, f5 was played, and now the bishop just capture the bishop, and here the queen capture. Then b4 was played, and here the pawn is strongly attacking the knight, and also can able to capture the pawn and check the king. So at this position, the best way is to move away the knight. So you can actually move the knight to a4. For example, if you move the knight to a4, this will remain equal for the white. So if you move any move such as push the pawn forward, then you can just continue to attack with the rook h to g1, and push up the pawn to continue to attack with here, such as with the pawn storm. And also the knight can just bring forward into the board and keep on the attack. So this will remain equal for the white. So in the actual game, after this move, the white play pawn capture the pawn, and this give white the better position. After this, the pawn takes the knight. Then this pawn e takes d7 and trying to attack the bishop. And here the c pawn just capture pawn and check the king. And here this pawn can be captured, and this also will give white the better position. And in the actual game, the king do not capture because it's afraid that you have a multiple attack from the black. So in the actual game, king b1 was played. You see, as you can see, the best move will be the king capture the pawn, and after the rook goes to b8 and check the king, then the king can just move and hide in the a1, and this position is safe for the white to continue to play. And here you can see that the white is just, the black is just slightly better in this position with the 5 pawn versus the equal 5 pawn. So in the actual game, the black do not capture the pawn, instead moving the king inside. And after this, the black just capture the pawn, and in this game, the black is having the extra 1 pawn after the exchange. So after this, queen just capture back the pawn, and now the black continue to play bishop to e6 and attacking the queen. And also you have the idea of sacrificing the bishop by taking the pawn at h2 and check the king. So once the king capture back the bishop, then the pawn can push down to be a queen in this position. So after this attack, the white had to make a safe move for the queen, such as queen to e4. And now after this position, now you have many ability to attack the king, which by using the rook, such as rook a to b8, or also you can play rook a to b8 to protect the pawn, or rook f to c8 to attack the pawn. So you have a multiple idea to attack, and now the black is clearly better and control the game with this b file open. So after this, in the actual game, rook a to c8 was played, and black is on the road to winning the game. After this, queen a4 was played, trying to protect the pawn as well as protect the a2 pawn and also c2 pawn. After this, rook c5 was played, and here the rook still control the square with the idea of putting the queen together to attack, and also the rook continue to goes to b8 and protect the b pawn b2 square. So after this, queen b4 was played, and this is a tactical blunder which causes the black to win the game. If I make example move, why the reason the rook to c5 is, example, if I move example move such as h3, then the queen will just come here to have a double pieces attack. Then if you make a h4, your rook will bring to b8 and continue to attack. So this bishop can be sacrificed, and if the queen just capture, then the rook will just capture the pawn. For example, if you make the h5 example move, the bishop will go for a sacrifice, and this will be a clearly winning. So if the king capture, then you can play rook to a5, and it's a pin, and the queen will be trapped. And back to this version, if you capture with the queen, then the rook continue to capture, and if you just continue to play a dummy move such as a g5, the rook will just go to check the king, and after the rook check, the queen check, and the pawn is protected, the queen, and the king cannot be moved. So this is the idea where you put all the pieces to the b file and the c file and continue to attack and protecting the pawn at b2. So after this version, the game continue with the queen to b4, and this is a tactical blunder. Then the black just continue to play queen to c7, and after this, the bishop continue to play bishop to d3, trying to protect the pawn. And now rook to b8 is a winning move, and with this the black is clearly better in the game. And now the black has the idea to play a bishop takes a2 and check, and you have a very brilliant sacrifice here. So example, if you move your queen away, such as if you move the queen to any place, you can see all is a red color, and this is a very bad move for the white. So in the actual game, the queen move to e4, and with the idea to capture the pawn and check the king. After this move, the white is winning and mate in 4. I give you a couple of seconds to figure out how the continuation of the black to play and mate in 4. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the moves that the black play and win the game and mate in 4. And after this queen e4 was played, the black play bishop takes the pawn, bishop takes a2 and check the king, and this is a mate in 4. So after bishop capture, and now again you can see that the king has no place to escape except to capture the bishop. So after this move, at the move 24, the white resign the game. And if you want to continue the game, if the king capture the bishop, then now you can just play rook to a5 and check the king, or you can just bring the queen to a5 and check the king. So for example, if you play rook to a5 and check the king, and again the king has only one place to move, which is king to b1. If you want to delay the checkmate, you can just play a queen to a4 to block the check, and the rook will just capture it. Rook takes a4, and after king move to b1, then you have a rook to a1 checkmate. And this game same also, if you use the queen to check, and if you block with the queen, and again the queen can just capture the queen. And now if you move the king goes to inside, then to the b1 you have the queen to a1 checkmate. Another pattern that you can play after this move is you can play a pawn to b1 and become a queen and check the king. And now you have only king to move up to a3, or to use the rook to capture. So if you use rook to capture, then the queen will just capture the queen at a4, and it will be a checkmate. And if you move the king to a3, then you can just play queen to b2 and checkmate, or you can also play rook to c3 and checkmate the king. So after this bishop takes a2 check, the black is winning with the multiple idea to checkmate the king, and this bishop sacrifice is a very brilliant move for the black to play. And with the combination of the pawn to move from b7 to b5, then continue to b4, and then attack the knight at c3 and attack the pawn at b2, and you have a very strong pawn attack in the b file in this game. And with this, thank you.